Business analysts are everywhere. You see, with this digitalization and the introduction of AI in each processes, there will be need of business analysts. Also, pharmaceuticals and life sciences, healthcare. These are the very upcoming strong field in terms of there are multiple app systems coming. Like I just said, that regulatory submission is now completely online. There is nothing like paper submission or offline. So for these, definitely lots of business analysts are required in the process, in the pharmacovigilance and safety field. Also education, if you see, everything is on apps and system only. I like very less book based learning. So for that also, in the field of education, for banking, business analysts always have been there. They will always excel there. So most of the government fields as well. So I would say there's a lot of opportunity for business analysts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Future Path Global. So, today we are diving deep into a very successful story. How can you transition your non IT role into a business analyst in the US job market? So, our guest for the day is Ms. Divya Jaiswal, who has successfully transitioned from pharmaceutical background into a business analyst role in the US job market. Her story is full of challenges, lessons, and insights for the aspiring business analyst. So, Divya, we are excited to have you with us today. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you very much for making me part of this interesting podcast.
All right, so let's start with the very first questions. Like, if you can just tell us, how did you decide to get into a business analyst role? Like, what made you interested in getting into this role, Divya?
I think usually if you talk to anyone, many few people would be aware about the business analyst role or what exactly business analyst does. Still, people get confused between business analyst and data analyst. So my interest was toward the business process. So I'm a drug regulatory submission, drug regulatory affairs professional, and I worked for a certain time, 5+ years in that area in the pharmaceutical industries. I worked with different pharmaceutical organizations. So I got end-to-end understanding of this business process. And when the opportunity arose with Infosys in 2014 and they were looking for a business analyst, at that time I thought of giving an interview to check if I was suitable for the position. I got selected, and that was my transition from pharmaceutical industry to core IT industry, I would say. So it was not something very much planned, but and when I joined, I was even not fully aware of the functions and roles of the business analyst, I would say.
What was your biggest fear and doubt when you moved into it? Like, how did you overcome with them?
If you ask to any non-IT person, they will be thinking, and my fear was the same. Like, I don't know IT. I know my business process. I know my regulatory submissions, but I don't know how it will correlate with the IT processes. So IT needs a strong understanding of SDLC, that is software development lifecycle. You should have the awareness of the each phases and what would be your role in each phase. So I had to equip myself with the many certifications, I would say, to get better understanding of this. I started with ITIL, and that helped me a lot to understand all the ITIL framework, the incident management, problem management, change management, also the SDLC life cycle. And slowly I did many process and project management related trainings. Like I did Azure trainings. I'm a certified Scrum Master, so I understood Agile. I did Safe Product Owner, Product Management certification, and I'm Safe Agilist. So slowly through these certifications, and also in Infosys has their many internal trainings through which I equip myself. But yeah, one tip I would say, you should be very much ready to learn if you are transitioning from non-IT to IT background.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion actually. So you should always be ready to learn if you are planning to learn something new, and if you are planning to move into some other profile. Like, all right. So for those who are new to this role, like, what would be your suggestions to? I mean, how would you explain that what business analyst does in the US job market?
Business analyst, anyone who wants to be a business analyst, they should understand that this job, apart from your technical expertise, which is your expertise in the business process, it needs lots of behavioral and soft skills. So you have to talk or communicate with the lots of stakeholders. So it would need combination of communication skills, time management skills, and stakeholder management. So apart from strengthening your technical skills, you should also work a lot on your soft skill. And if I say in one word, if you are able to talk both business and technology, then you should enter in the field of business analysis.
Right, of course. I mean, communication is the most, you can say, very, very important part of business analysis role. All right. So for those who are new, like, if you can just tell us, like, which industries are offering more BA jobs to of someone who is transitioning into a BA role, Divya?
Everywhere, business analysts are everywhere. You see, with this digitalization and the introduction of AI in each processes, there will be need of business analysts. Also, pharmaceuticals and life sciences, healthcare, these are the very upcoming strong field in terms of there are multiple app systems coming. Like I just said, that regulatory submission is now completely online. There is nothing like paper submission or offline. So for these, definitely lots of business analysts are required in the process, in the pharmacovigilance and safety field. Also, education, if you see, everything is on apps and system only. I like very less book-based learning. So for that also in the field of education, for banking, business analysts always have been there. They will always excel there. So most of the government fields as well. So I would say there's a lot of opportunity for business analysts.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of opportunities in a lot of different industries, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now, I mean, you have worked in India, right? Now you're working in US, right? What difference do you see in the work environment, Divya?
I would say not much of difference, because when I was in Infosys, I started interacting with different clients. So few of them were from US, Europe, or Asia. But I would say here I find time management better compared to India, because I'm able to complete the task within 8 hours, and then I can give myself a couple of personal time as well.
All right. So now coming from a non-IT background, like, what skills did you already have which helped you in succeeding in this role?
So I would say the communication skills, since I was in regulatory affairs, and that roles also needs you to communicate with almost all kind of departments, starting from the synthesis to analytical and various regulatory bodies, FDA, MHRA, EDQM. So the communication was my very strong forte. On top of that, like I would say my documentation and review skills. So I had compiled a lot document, reviewed, and did the project management, regulatory project management as well. So I came with all these skills. I had very strong foundation of my business process understanding, end to end, how the regulatory submissions are does works. And that was very helpful when I connected with the stakeholder, because I was able to communicate in their language in terms of submissions or the regulatory bodies.
All right. So that means, like, communication skills and your domain knowledge help you more in this, right?
I would say these are the must have. I mean, you can polish before you enter in the market, but there are a lot of tools. I won't ignore the BA tools. So you should learn those as well. Like when you are BA, you should know Visio or the other tools through which you can explain the business process. Jira, you will need it for writing your user stories or doing the testing. There is ALM, couple of. So yeah, definitely you come with your strong domain knowledge, your communication skills, and then you learn couple of business analysis tools, I would say.
Perfect, right? So your good communication skills and your domain knowledge, the tools you need to learn, like, these are all learnable tools for anyone who is transitioning into this role, right? Which challenges did you face, like, when you started attending this BA job interviews? Like, how did you tackle them?
Definitely, because I was coming from core pharma background, people were not very much confident. Okay, I knew I was working or I know my business process, but how would I handle the IT industry, or main specifically it was client management, I would say. So because when I was in pharma, I was just interacting with internal stakeholder. The only outside communication I was doing was with the regulatory bodies like FDA, and that is not like face to face. Mostly we do hardly do any meetings. It's mostly on the emails, right? And when you have to talk with a person and not one person, because sometimes it's a big group of stakeholders you have to manage. So in interview, this was the like doubt on the interviewer, like how would I adjust? But I assured that I have interacted with as many people and I have confidence on me that I would do it better. And then the interviewer thought of giving me a chance.
Great. That would be very relatable for many of the aspirants planning to get into this role.
I think one
All
of
right.
the tip I would give for interview is keep your confidence, because they will definitely check the level of your confidence. Because if you are not confident in interview itself, how would you handle so many stakeholders, the clients, right?
Right, that's perfect actually. So whenever you go for any job interview, so when you read the job description and if you feel like you are able to handle that particular role and you'll be able to answer those all questions confidently, like the KRIs which they have mentioned. So that is the most important part of it. Like the confidence is very important in this. You're right.
Yeah.
Great. So in your opinion, what is the first step someone should take to become a business analyst in the US job market? Like what steps should they take? Should they focus on certification, networking? I mean, any hands-on experience is needed. So what's your thought on that, Divya?
It depends on the level, in which level you are planning to enter as the business analyst. If you are an entry level business analyst, I would definitely suggest the certification, entry level business analyst certification. And if you are experienced, then CBAP, those things would be helpful to understand you the BA framework and how the BA works. But if you are already experienced business analyst, then I would say like your hold on your domain or your business process should be the must thing. So it's not one thing like you should just do certification or networking or the polish your domain skills. I would say it's a combination of all. But for the newcomer, definitely you can start with the certification, and always whatever business process or industry you are aiming for, be updated on that. And then definitely networking helps in any way. So be updated on your LinkedIn or any professional.
Right, perfect. So that means like if somebody is entering this role, so they can start with this IIB ECBA certification, right?
Yeah, I would suggest definitely that.
All right. So when you were starting out, like, did you explore about any certification or any structured learning? Like, how did you, entered into this particular role?
I entered, there was, as I said, because I came due to my business process knowledge. I had not the previous certifications in the IT field or the business analysis. But after entering, I did the certifications. Infosys has their internal business analyst certification. Those I did, and as I said, I did ITIL and other Agile, Scrum related certifications.
All right. So apart from technical knowledge, like what soft skills or mindset changes help you in most in excelling this role, Divya?
So I think, as I said, you should be very much ready to interact with multiple stakeholders, and you have to understand like each stakeholder would be different. When you are doing the requirement gathering, and the business people, they are mostly not clear on what exactly they want. It's just like somebody says I want to make a home. This is their requirement. But then as a business analyst, you further drill down like what is your budget, in which area you want, how many, it should be 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, what are your specific requirement, do you want a study, do you want a kitchen, like that. So you can correlate it with that. So you have to, people take communication as mostly person who speaks well, who is a good orator, that is a good in communication. But I say like communication is a two-way process. So a business analyst should be very good active listener. They have to understand their stakeholders, their business requirements, and then only they can excel in this field. So yeah, communication, I would say again.
All right. So if you go in past and if you have to give one piece of advice, right, to BAs who are entering into this role, so what would be that, Divya?
As somebody said, knowledge is the success. Knowledge is the key of the success. Similarly, I would say learning is the key of the success. I have been lifelong learner my entire life. Recently, I have completed my PhD as well, and I have enrolled as a student in a data analysis program recently. So just keep learning. But the day you think like I know everything, I think that's the end of your progress. So always keep learning, keep yourself ready to learn new things, always polish your communication skills, and I think that's it. That's what I would advise.
All right, one last question. Like if this, our listeners wants to connect with you, so where can they connect you, Divya?
Anybody can find me on the LinkedIn. Maybe at the end of this session, you can provide them my LinkedIn link. I would be much more than happy to answer the questions for the upcoming BA if they are if they are planning to transition into the role, and specifically if they are from the non-IT background, I would be very much happy to guide them.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank Techcanvass for providing this wonderful.
Pleasure to have you here today, Divya. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Divya. And I'm sure many aspiring business analysts will walk away with a lot of clarity, confidence, and a roadmap to move their career into a business analyst role. To our listeners, thanks for tuning into this episode of Future Path Global. If you find this conversation helpful, please do subscribe and share with somebody who might benefit from this episode. Stay tuned for our next episode where we will come up with another success story wherein people are getting successful globally. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building your future path. Thank you.